Mosaic Souls. Hello, Mosaic Souls. This is Rachael Alexander, artist and Mosaic Soul mentor. And I wanted to turn my camera on and share. It's been a while since I've actually had the desire to share. And so I wanted to talk about, I just had a really interesting conversation with a girlfriend that I hadn't spoken to in over a year, since my birthday last year. It is now 3 months or 2 months, 3 months, about 3 months past my birthday. And so I'm in my car in front of a Whole Foods. I had the inspiration. I was like, I need. Anywho, I was thinking to myself, excuse me as I chew on ice. I'm in hot Atlanta, 95 degrees outside. But I was talking to my friend, and immediately as we started talking, as I saw her, it was nothing but joy. But as she sat down at the table, there was this energy shift, and I just felt this heaviness with her. I'm highly intuitive, highly perceptible, and aware of other people's energy. I don't know if it was just because she was tired and all that stuff, but I just felt this heaviness of energy, and one of the reasons she, as she was talking about how her life is going, and we were just kind of catching up and talking about, all these different things and how our lives are going and stuff, I could just feel like her, as I was sharing my perspective on things, I could feel her lighten up her perspective. She had this kind of weight of the world on her shoulders, a Black female in America. And I know that there's a lot of political contentions going on right now, a lot of issues going on between Blacks and whites and stuff. That's still kind of weird, the fact that it's still happening in 2018. And I don't hear about this because I live in a bubble, and she was asking me, if I listen to the news or watch the news and stuff like that. And I was like, nope, I am completely oblivious to anything that's going on in the world. And I like it that way. And as I was talking to her and I started to understand and feel her energy, I understood completely why I live in a bubble. And I choose to live in a bubble because me, when you know who you are, which is a soul having a human experience, a divine infinite being, having just this individual expression, for me, it's called Rachael. And for you, it's called whatever your name is. The human stuff is not that it's not important, is that I'm fully aware that I'm the creator of my own reality. And I'm also fully aware that what I focus on expands. And I don't believe that there are any victims on this planet unless they choose to be victims. And that is either a subconscious choice, an unconscious choice, or a conscious choice. Most of the time it's unconscious. But because of that, I noticed there was so much tension and worry and fear and just heaviness on her, because I think she was carrying so much of that weight, and a lot of stuff was going on in her own inner circle, friends and stuff. And I could just feel the weight of that, and me being so bright, and like my perspective of life is just so dramatically different than it was 11 years ago, where I too used to carry the weight of the world on, because I didn't know that I was more than this fleshly being. And it's not, things I remember her asking me was, so, it was kind of like so color doesn't matter to you kind of thing. And we ended up having a really great conversation. She's one of my dear friends, but I just, recognize why I totally live in a bubble predominant of the time, is because I believe in protecting my reality. We live in a world where everybody's creating their reality. Everybody is experiencing what they predominantly think about, feel about, expect, and focus on. And, it's really hard for a lot of people who don't live that way, who don't understand that that's how the universe works, to understand that they aren't victims, that regardless if something negative happens to them, that they were in full control of it. Either, their soul was, they signed up for that before they got here, or they made agreements with other people for, one person to be the perpetrator and the other person to be the victim. Whatever that situation is, we are completely in control, in the sense that we are the creators of our own reality, because we're constantly creating what we predominantly think about, even children. And I know this is a hard thing for a lot of people to understand, but it's just the way the universe works. And the reason why I choose to cut myself off from not watching the news and listening to the radio and other kinds of news and stuff like that is because I like living in bliss. Like, who the heck doesn't like to feel good? It's like asking someone, so which would you choose? Suffering, pain, and fear, and completely being cut off from who you really are, or complete awareness of your infinity and bliss, joy, and happiness? I want to go with the latter because that's way more fun, right? So, it's really funny because one of my parents, they always send me, news and things that are going on in the world, and I never respond to those. I only and talk to them about positive things or things that I'm excited about, because to me, if my highest excitement isn't leading me to be an activist, isn't guiding me to do something specific in the world that can help those people who are victims, or to defend against the perpetrators and that stuff, then I know that that's not what I'm here to do, And I was giving my friend the example of, I met this young gentleman who was an activist for the Haitians when the whole hurricane in Haiti happened and all those people lost their homes and food and all that stuff. And he was down there on the ground, raising money, sending money on the ground, giving out food and all that stuff. And I remember just hearing him talk about his mission and how excited he was. He was genuinely excited and felt that that was his purpose. And I was like, I know he's on his path, because he has an excitement, an ignition, a fire behind him that is pulling him towards helping those people. And I know a lot of times people feel like, well, if you're a light being, then you need to go out there and help everybody and be a savior. And the truth is, that's not how the universe works. It's like, if my soul isn't telling me that I should do something, then I'm not gonna do it. Like, I follow my highest excitement. And I encourage you to do that as well. As I always say, flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't, because that's just how the universe works. And your soul is very aware. We are all infinite beings, not just me, not just you watching this, everybody around you, regardless if they're aware of their infiniteness, they are infinite beings. And so no matter if, someone cussed them out, or something bad happened and they got in a car accident, or they were raped, murdered, and killed, their soul is going to leave this earthly body and they're going to be fine. Like, there's nothing that can harm who we really truly are. This fleshly, earthly humanness that we're having is simply a part of the journey that we all signed up for. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing inherently bad about it. We signed up for contrast. We signed up for the not so good times in life. But we also knew that we are the creator of our own realities, and that if we can remember who we are, that we can consciously decide to create life situations that match our preferences by focusing with our predominant thoughts, emotions, feelings, expectations. And so, as I was sharing with her my perspective on life and why, I have such a connection with my infiniteness, with my soul and my spirit fam, that I just know who I am. I know that I'm more than this human thing, like, it's totally fine. Death is not scary to me. Anything that, that we might have hangups around just because of our mortality as humans is not really scary to me. Of course, I experience fear. Of course, I experience, self-doubt and worry from time to time, but then I snap out of it. And then that expanded awareness of who I am becomes so prominent once again that it just becomes laughable. The whole human experience is just laughable, because everybody's around running around thinking that this is it, that this human journey is all we got. And I'm fully aware that this is one stop of many that my soul is on right now. And it's actually happening multiplicity, like right now, because we're multidimensional beings. And there is no time outside of the time that we experience on earth. But outside of this realm, there really is no time. So there is versions of me out there living other versions of, my future selves and my past selves all living right now. That's my belief. So ultimately, anything that's happening to me there, and is the wrong way to say that. Anything that happens or occurs in my life, I'm fully aware that that's what I signed up for. And it helps lighten the load, even when it's things that I don't prefer, that sometimes we create things that we don't prefer and we have to go back to our canvases and repaint the canvas. I'm now at a place, a while, where I understand that that's what we signed up for, and that I don't have to engage in political, social, or socioeconomic things, or racial things, or anything like that, where there's prejudices or one person doing something bad to another person and all this other stuff. I don't even have to engage in that, because that's not the reality that I want to create for myself. And so therefore I don't attract it to myself. I don't think about those things. I mean, think about walking around. I don't know what your race is or what your creed is or what your beliefs are. And I fully support that everybody have their own beliefs, because that's what we came here for. We came here to be ourselves. And so, of course, there's billions of us on the planet, because infinite intelligence wanted to expand and really experience what it would be like to be billions of humans at the same time. And so I'm totally okay with that. But imagine walking around, right? To prove my point here, walking around as a Black female, American female in America with fear, right? Walking around, I don't even like talking about it, but just walking around feeling like, oh, somebody's out to get me. I got to be careful how I drive. I got to be careful how I talk to people, because, I might end up in jail, or they might shoot me, or, like, imagine walking around with that heaviness on your shoulders. I mean, what are you going to attract? You know what I mean? Like, because you're focused on that fear becomes your reality. Now, you got to remember that every reality is valid. Every freaking reality is valid. The fear and the love-based reality is equally valid. So whatever we give our attention to is what's going to manifest for us. There's nothing wrong with experiencing and focusing on fear if that's what you want. But there's another way to live, and I just choose to live in the love-based way. That's why I live in a bubble, because currently we live in a society where everybody likes to live in fear. Not everybody likes to live in fear, but everybody lives in fear because they don't know who they are. Not everybody, but a lot of people live in fear. There are a lot of people who are waking up who just as woke as me, just as woke as you. If you're still watching this, then you woke. Okay. So, yeah, so it was very interesting. I just wanted to share that. Why, like, find your flow, find what feels good for you. If you like listening to news and that jazzes you up and that juices up your vibe and lets you feel good because you feel aware of what's going on in the world, then hey, do that, do your thing. If that doesn't flow with you, then don't do it. It's all about how you feel and what life you want to create. You are the creator of your own reality. You the only one creating. You the only one creating. Nobody else is creating. So it's just really simple, because we can make it that way. We can make it really complex, or we can make it really simple. And I like simplicity. I like ease. I like beauty. I like creativity. I like experiencing the life that I choose to live, because I know who I am and I know why I came here, and it's definitely a discovery process. It's not like, oh, I wake up every day feeling the infiniteness of my being. No, I wake up, I'm still human. I still got to go to the bathroom and brush my teeth and all that stuff. Like, yeah, I'm still human. But at the same time, I fully came here for the whole playground experience called Earth, and and ain't nothing really that serious, even when it feels serious, even when it feels heavy, even when it feels like this is not what I want to be going on. Everything is always okay, because we are so infinite and we are love. Like, the essence of who we are is so expansive. Like I was having this experience the other kind of outer body experience the other day and driving, and it was just amazing. I was just enjoying the infiniteness, like literally how huge each of us are is literally like the universe, you know, like the universe and beyond. We are so infinite, you know. And so when we drop these things called human bodies, we go back to that, you know, and we decide to incarnate in something else or stay in the spirit realm or whatever. So it ain't nothing but check wine, as they say in the South. There's nothing, as you know, it's all about what you make it. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at, you know, like you see my licking my lips are dry, living all this heat. But anyways, yeah, so that's where I'm at. I just wanted to share why I choose to live in a bubble. And, yeah, always flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't. Because you're an infinite being, you're a divine, infinite being, soul, having this human experience, a Mosaic soul. And when you become awakened to the fact of your infiniteness, multidimensional, multiplicital, multi-passionate self, then you can embrace life from a place of love and from a place of positive expectation, and a place of detachment because you know who you is and it ain't that dang on serious. So I hope this has been helpful. As always, flow with what feels good, let go of what doesn't, and peace. Have a good one.